Okay, so this is how to short. You click on sell. Shorting simply means you're expecting the price to drop so that you can make profit. And so you can adjust your denominations like I've just done from 50 to 1, whatever is convenient for you to be able to select and it doesn't change so rapidly. Okay, I want to short at the current price or the highest available buy order price, and I'll click on sell. I'm still using 10 times leverage. If you see that I've shorted Ethereum, I shorted it or sold it. You see sell or short, I've shorted or sold it at 1338.45 USDT. It has dropped in value to 1337.74 USDT, and I've made a very little profit. Now, if the price rises to 1465 USDT, my investments will liquidate. You see, so it only works if the price drops. And of course, as I did when I was longing Ethereum USDT, I can add margin, I can add extra margin to this time increase the liquidation price. So if I add 0.14 cents or 0.14 USDT, I'm going to increase the liquidation price to 1604.3. That means it will not liquidate unless it rises in price to 1604.3. You see, if I add 0.28 USDT, the liquidation price increases even further. If I triple it or quadruple it this time and I had 0.42 USDT, this limited liquidation price increases even further. All right, and that's similar to what we're going to be doing. We'll be using 4 times the amount of margin that we started with for our trades. All right, so in this scenario now, I've made my trade much safer such that I have more room to maneuver. I know it's not likely to liquidate in the short term, but of course I still have to watch my trade, you see. So, but I've made some profit from Ethereum dropping from 1338 to 1334. All right, and I can close position either with market price, meaning I close it immediately if I click on confirm, or I change it to a limit order and decide at what price I want to close position. I started from 1338. For me to close position in profit, it means it has to drop in value. So I can put, for example, 1300 as my closing price. All right, if it drops to 1300, I'm going to make, and I close at that price, I'm going to make a profit of 0.03 USDT from my 0.14 USDT. That's 3 on 14, about 25% roughly, you see. And so I can confirm that and create that order. You see, what happened just now was a buy order was created because I've shorted, I've sold. So for me to make profit, it has to be a buy order. But it's not as if once that buy order is executed, I will now have Ethereum. No, it's the Ethereum that I previously sold that will be bought, and so it will come back to zero. So that's closing position. Or I can use stop profit and loss once again, like I did with longing, but this time my limit order, of course, will be at a lower price, right? So let's say I want to close at 1300, and I'll place the condition, that's the stop price, at a higher level than that, let's say 1305, and I'll confirm. And if that happens, I'll make 3 cents. Confirm. So that means if the price drops to 1305, an order will be created to sell Ethereum or to buy Ethereum at 1300, and if it drops to that price, it will buy, and that trade will be closed in profit. On the other hand, I can place a stop loss by placing a limit order at a higher level than where I entered in case it rises, for example, to 1350, and I don't want it to go beyond that so that I do not lose too much funds. I've placed a stop loss at 1350 in case it rises instead of dropping, and then I place my mark price at a lower level than that, let's say 1345. So I'm going to make a loss of only 0.01 USDT. If I confirm that, I'll confirm buy order. If you check open orders, you'll see that what I have created is a conditional order such that If the price rises to 1,345, another will be opened to buy USDT or to buy Ethereum at 1,350 or to close that trade at 1,350 at the loss I showed earlier. And so if it rises to that price 1,350, that order will be fulfilled. And that is how to do that. And of course, with this one, like I said, you can adjust margin just the same way for longing. You can add margin, you can remove margin. The maximum margin I can remove here is 0.42. If I remove it, my liquidation price becomes 1,465 once again. But I can go beyond that. I can adjust leverage. Remember, I cannot reduce leverage in isolated margin mode. I can only increase leverage. So let's say I increase leverage to 50 times in this situation. All right, confirm. Once again, nothing has changed except the leverage and the percentage profit or loss. Now, how the parameters are really going to change is if, based on the increased leverage, I now remove margin, because increasing the leverage means that I need less money to buy the same amount of Ethereum. So that means I can remove out of the money I used before. I can click on the plus sign. I can either add margin or remove margin. But now I can remove margin because I've increased the leverage. I can remove as much as 0.11 USDT. If I confirm that, insufficient collateral. Okay, if I adjust that again, 0.10. If I confirm that, that's all I can remove. What is left is 0.04. So I've increased my leverage, I've reduced my margin, and now my liquidation price has come down to 1,365. It has come closer to my starting point. That means I've increased the risk of my trade from 4.3 something to 17.8. You don't need to bother too much about that figure, but the higher it is, the riskier your trade is. All right, so this is not a good trade to continue with. Even though it looks like it's in profit right now, the chances of it rising to 1,365 before any meaningful drop are quite high. So the best thing I can do at this point is to close this trade. That is why we use leverage between 5 and 10 times to make our trade as safe as possible. You will discover that the system itself will tell you, once you increase your leverage above 20 times, it will tell you that you have increased it to a dangerous level. Let's see that example. At 10, at 18, it doesn't say anything, you see. But once you increase it to 19, 20, 21, it says your leverage is high. Please manage your risk accordingly. All right. So safety is in lower leverage, even though it's not as profitable as much higher leverages, but it's safer, and it's better to make a little profit at a time with your money than to lose all your money on a single trade while trying to make a lot of profit at once.